I never thought the person who would try to ruin my life would be my own sister. My name is Emily, and until last year, I thought I had everything. A job I loved, an amazing fiancé named Nathan, and plans for a beautiful wedding in the spring. My sister, Claire, was supposed to be my maid of honor. We weren't exactly the closest growing up. She was always more competitive, more dramatic, but I thought we had moved past all that. Or at least I did. Nathan and I had been together for almost 4 years. We met in college, started dating just before graduation, and had been inseparable ever since. He was the calm to my storm. Where I panicked, he steadied. Where I overthought, he simplified. He was thoughtful, loyal, and the kind of man you knew you could build a life with. When he proposed on a quiet beach trip last summer, I didn't hesitate. I cried. I laughed. I said yes. The months leading up to the wedding were stressful, sure, but I tried to keep it fun. I thought Claire was enjoying being part of it all, coming to fittings, helping pick out color schemes, even volunteering to help me organize the guest list. She smiled through everything, played the perfect sister, the perfect maid of honor. I had no idea she was plotting behind the scenes. Then, one random Tuesday evening, everything crashed. Nathan didn't come home on time. I tried not to worry at first. He worked late sometimes, or stopped by his brother's place after work. But when he hadn't answered his phone for 2 hours and I heard his keys at the door just past 10 p.m., my stomach was already in knots. He walked in, dropped his keys on the counter, and looked at me with a face I didn't recognize. Cold. Hard. Hurt. "We need to talk," he said. Those are the 4 worst words in the English language. He sat across from me at the dining table, didn't touch the food I had made, and then, without even softening his voice, asked, "Are you cheating on me?" I thought he was joking. I laughed. A confused, awkward, nervous laugh. "What?" "Don't play dumb," he said sharply. "Claire told me everything." The name hit me like ice water. "Claire told you what?" Nathan pulled out his phone, swiped a few times, and showed me a screenshot. It was a text conversation between Claire and him. She had sent him photos, grainy ones of me sitting at a cafe with a male coworker, Martin. Just coffee. Then a few more, a week later, of us walking out of the office and standing near his car. Nothing incriminating, nothing intimate, but just enough for someone to spin a story around. Underneath, she had written, "I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, but I think you deserve to know before it's too late. Emily's been meeting up with him behind your back. She swore me to secrecy. I wouldn't say anything unless I was sure." I felt like I was going to throw up. "Nathan, that's not," I began, but he cut me off. "I don't want to hear excuses. Just the truth. Are you cheating on me with Martin?" "No," I said, my voice rising. "He's just a friend. A coworker. We've had coffee a few times to talk about work stuff. That's it." Nathan stared at me, jaw clenched, eyes flickering with too many emotions at once. "Why would your sister lie about something like this?" "I don't know." I cried, tears welling up. "But she is. She's lying, Nathan." He stood up, backing away slightly, like I was some stranger. "I need some air." I reached for him. "Please, don't walk out on me like this. I swear I haven't done anything wrong." But he left. He didn't even take a jacket. That night, I sat on the couch in silence for hours. I texted him. Called him. Nothing. My mind spun in circles. Why would Claire do this? Why now? She'd always had a jealous streak, sure, but this? This was nuclear. The next morning, I drove straight to Claire's apartment. She opened the door with a fake surprised smile. "Wow, someone looks stressed," she said, stepping aside casually. "Everything okay?" "Cut the crap," I said. "What did you tell Nathan?" She blinked. "What are you talking about?" "Don't play dumb. You sent him photos. You told him I was cheating." Claire sighed dramatically and sat down on her couch, pulling a blanket over her legs like this was some reality TV show and she was the misunderstood star. I didn't tell him anything. I just shared what I saw. He had a right to know. There's nothing to know. I shouted. Those photos, Martin's a coworker. You know that. We've been friends for years. Well, maybe it looked like more than that, she said, shrugging. You're always giggling with him, texting late at night, grabbing coffee. What was I supposed to think? That I'm engaged, Claire. That I love Nathan. That I'd never do something like that. And that you, as my sister, should trust me enough to ask me first before burning down my entire relationship. Claire's face darkened slightly. Maybe I'm just tired of always coming second to you. Maybe Nathan deserves someone who's honest. I froze. There it was. The real reason. Oh my God, I whispered. You're in love with him. Her eyes flicked up to mine for a second too long. She looked away. This isn't high school, I said, voice trembling. You can't just sabotage my life because you're jealous. I didn't make him leave, she said. He chose to walk out. I stared at her in disbelief. You're seriously okay with this? With ruining my wedding, destroying my relationship, all because you wanted to feel important? Claire stood up, her mask finally dropping. You've always had everything, Emily. The good grades, the job, the fiancé, the attention. I'm tired of being the footnote in your perfect little story. My voice broke. You're my sister. You were supposed to stand beside me when I walked down the aisle. She didn't reply. I turned and walked out, slamming the door behind me. That was the longest week of my life. Nathan didn't respond to my calls. My parents were confused, asking questions I didn't know how to answer without tearing the family apart. I didn't want to turn them against Claire, but I couldn't stay quiet either. Eventually, I broke down and told them what happened. They were stunned. Mom cried. Dad called Claire and, for the first time in years, yelled at her over the phone. But the damage was done. One afternoon, I sat alone at the park where Nathan and I had once planned to take our engagement photos. I just sat on the bench for hours, watching couples walk by, wondering how quickly life could fall apart. Then I got a text. From Nathan. Can we talk? I stared at it for 5 full minutes before responding. Yes. We agreed to meet at his apartment that evening. My heart was racing when he opened the door. He looked tired. Sad. Confused. But he let me in. I've been thinking a lot, he said. About us. About everything. I nodded, my throat tight. I want to believe you, he said. But I don't know who to trust. I know, I whispered. But I swear to you, Nathan, I didn't cheat. Martin is nothing more than a colleague. Claire twisted everything. He rubbed his face. She said you begged her not to tell me. That you were planning to break things off after the wedding. That's a lie, I said firmly. She's trying to sabotage us because she can't stand seeing me happy. He looked at me, searching my face. Why would she do that? And then I said it. Because she's in love with you. He blinked. What? She admitted it. Or at least didn't deny it. Nathan looked like someone had knocked the wind out of him. He sat down slowly. I didn't see it, he muttered. She was always friendly. A little flirty, maybe. But I thought she was just trying to be nice. She wanted you, I said. And when she couldn't have you, she made sure I wouldn't either. There was a long silence. Then he whispered, I feel so stupid. You're not stupid, I said gently. You're human. He looked up at me. I don't want to lose you, Em. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Then don't. He reached for my hand. And in that fragile moment, there was still hope. Nathan didn't say anything for a long time after that. He just sat there on the couch, holding my hand, his thumb brushing against my skin like he was trying to find his way back to something familiar. I had imagined this moment so many times, what I would say if I ever got the chance, how I'd prove myself, how I'd make him see the truth. But now that he was sitting in front of me again, all the words I had rehearsed vanished. "I don't know how to fix this," he finally said. "I feel like everything is broken." I squeezed his hand. "It's only broken if we let it stay that way." Nathan looked at me, his eyes softer now, but still clouded with uncertainty. "I should have come to you first. Asked you. Trusted you. You were hurt," I said quietly. "And Claire knew exactly what to say to make you doubt me." He nodded, then leaned back against the couch, letting out a long breath. "She sent me those pictures like she was trying to protect me. She made me feel like you were just waiting to leave, like I was just some temporary placeholder in your life." My chest tightened. "You were never temporary to me." There was a pause. Then he asked, "Is there anything else I don't know?" I shook my head. "No. There was never anything between me and Martin. You can ask him if you want. He's engaged, Nathan. He's been with his fiancé longer than we've been together. Claire knew all of that. She just didn't care." He sat in silence for a while, just letting the truth sink in. I could see the internal war in his eyes, his loyalty to me fighting with the betrayal he felt from Claire. And maybe a little guilt over how quickly he believed her. Eventually, he whispered, "I don't want to lose you." "I don't want to lose you either," I replied, tears slipping down my cheeks. "But I also can't keep pretending this didn't leave a scar." Nathan looked up. "What do you mean?" "I mean Claire didn't just plan a lie, she made you question me. She made you doubt everything we built. And as much as I understand your reaction, it still hurt." "I know," he said softly. "And I'm sorry. It was genuine. I knew it was. But something in me still ached." After that night, we started talking again, slowly, carefully. Like two people trying to learn to trust again. Nathan apologized over and over, not just in words but in actions. He came to therapy with me. We had long, honest conversations about communication, boundaries, and loyalty. I could see how much he regretted what happened. But there was one thing we hadn't resolved. Claire. I hadn't spoken to her since the confrontation at her apartment. She hadn't reached out. Not to apologize. Not to explain. Not even to fake it. My parents were appalled when they found out the full story. My mom cried for days, she couldn't believe her own daughter would betray family like that. Dad told Claire she wasn't welcome at the house until she took responsibility for what she did. But she never did. Instead, she started telling people I had overreacted. That I was too sensitive. That Nathan probably had doubts already and she just helped him see the truth. Her manipulations didn't end when she got caught. They just shifted shape. A few months passed. Nathan and I postponed the wedding. We needed time to rebuild, to breathe, to make sure we were truly okay. It wasn't easy, but it was real. And in some ways, it brought us even closer. We learned how to be brutally honest with each other. How to listen when it hurt. How to love without assumptions. Then one evening, as I was leaving work, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered hesitantly. "Hello?" It was Claire. "I guess you're still mad at me," she said, her voice cold. I didn't respond. She sighed. "Look, I didn't call to fight. I just wanted to say that maybe I went too far. But everything I did was out of love." "Love?" I said bitterly. "You call what you did love? You don't understand," she snapped. "I've watched you get everything since we were kids. You were the golden girl. The one everyone loved. The one who never failed. I was tired of feeling invisible. And your solution was to burn down the one thing in my life that made me feel safe?" I asked. "To lie about something so serious, to manipulate my fiancé into leaving me, just because you were jealous?" "I didn't think he'd actually believe me," she muttered. "I thought he'd confront you, and you two would argue, and maybe you'd realize he wasn't right for you. That's twisted, I said. You didn't want to help me. You wanted to hurt me. There was a long silence. Then she whispered, I never meant to lose you. You didn't lose me, Claire, I said. You threw me away. I hung up. And that was the last time I ever spoke to her. We sent out new wedding invitations months later, with a new date, a smaller guest list, and no maid of honor. My mother cried when she saw me in my dress again, but this time the tears were different. Softer. Wiser. Like she knew how hard I had fought to get there. Nathan stood at the altar, tears in his eyes, and when he said, I do, I knew he meant it with every ounce of his being. We had made it. Not because everything was perfect, but because we chose each other even when it hurt. After the ceremony, as we stood outside the venue taking photos, someone mentioned Claire. One of Nathan's cousins asked if she was coming. I shook my head. She's not part of this chapter. And that was the truth. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reunion. Sometimes it just means letting go of the weight you've been carrying. Claire may have tried to destroy my life, but in the end, all she did was reveal who truly deserved to be in it. And that's how we survived. Not by forgetting, but by choosing love anyway.